I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Tuesday, August 11th. Quincy firefighters battled a two-alarm fire at the Twin Rivers Technology Plant at the Quincy Shipyard over the weekend. The blaze broke out Saturday night when some natural oils ignited, according to the company, and there was no danger to the public. At least one firefighter was treated for heat exhaustion. Twin Rivers manufactures products used in soaps, detergents, cosmetics, and some foods. It was owned by Procter & Gamble before Twin Rivers purchased it in 1994. The site has been the scene of similar fires in the past. Last year, Twin Rivers agreed to a $600,000 settlement with the Conservation Law Foundation to settle a federal lawsuit claiming the company illegally discharged oil, grease, heavy metals, and volatile organic compounds into Quincy waterways and air. $300,000 of that settlement was used to plant new trees in Quincy, and the other $300,000 for salt marsh restoration along the Neponset River. The cause of Saturday night's fire is still under investigation. A state police trooper was one of three people hospitalized after a two-vehicle crash last night in Brockton. Happened in the area of 899 Belmont Street just before 11 p.m. EMS, fire, and state police responded along with Brockton police. The trooper, along with the driver and passenger of the other vehicle, were taken to area hospitals. The extent of their injuries is not known, and it's unclear at this time what led up to the crash. It was the third crash involving state police cruisers within 24 hours. A driver was cited after their vehicle struck a state police cruiser on 93 in Stoneham just after 2 a.m. That trooper was not injured. The driver was served with 2 civil violations, impeded operation for distracted driving, and a Mark Lanes violation. And a trooper from the Middleborough Barracks was involved in a crash just after 8 in the morning at the intersection of Crescent Street and Crescent Avenue in Brockton that involved 2 other vehicles. All parties were treated by local EMS. The trooper and the driver of one of the other 2 vehicles involved were taken to an area hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Lindsay Clancy's lawyer probed her psychiatrist's expertise, prescribing decisions, and overall treatment, as the defense sought yesterday to suggest that the mental health care system mishandled the Duxbury mother's decline in the months before she killed her 3 young children. In questioning Dr. Jennifer Tufts, defense lawyer Kevin Reddington spotlighted her use of 25-minute video appointments with limited time for talk therapy, the computerized forms that documented her observations, and the series of pharmaceuticals she recommended as Clancy reported various side effects, symptoms, and concerns about taking medications. Reddington portrayed Clancy's care not as common practice in U.S. mental health care, but rather as inadequate and indifferent treatment of a deteriorating patient. At one point, Reddington implied that the doctor was a box-checking robot. Prosecutors argue that the former labor and delivery nurse was an intentional killer who convinced her husband to get out of the house and then strangled the children with exercise bands in January of 2023. Prosecutor Shannon Buckingham has urged jurors not to view the trial as a public debate about women's mental health and how the medical system treats women. Clancy's attorneys don't dispute that she killed the children, but they say she shouldn't be held criminally responsible because she was mentally ill, believing that she heard voices ordering her to take the children's lives and her own. The defense contends that she was in the grip of bipolar disorder and postpartum psychosis, a rare post-pregnancy condition that can alter women's sense of reality. A forensic psychiatrist diagnosed her with those conditions after the killings. After lawmakers fast-tracked the bill, Governor Healey yesterday signed legislation removing restrictions on abortions after 24 weeks of gestation, a change that supporters say will help more patients stay in state to receive care. The law eliminates the existing four-pronged framework enabling abortions for pregnancies at or beyond 24 weeks in life-threatening situations for the patient or fetus, instead writing a new law that states, quote, an abortion may be performed by a physician based upon the professional judgment of the physician, end quote. The House on July 22nd voted 119 to 33 to pass the bill, with all Republicans who voted casting their votes against it. The Senate on July 31st passed the bill with a 15 to 4 standing vote. According to Judiciary Committee Chairman Representative Mike Day, it's the fourth time in 16 years that lawmakers revisited the issue in an effort to, quote, get it right, to get government out of the way of a health issue, and to lessen the trauma inflicted on pregnant women who are suddenly confronted with unbelievably tragic news about their pregnancies more than 6 months into their term. Massachusetts is moving forward with a proposal that would make it the first state in the nation to require building owners to identify and replace recalled sprinkler heads, a move that comes in the wake of last year's deadly fire at the Gabriel House Assisted Living Home in Fall River. The Massachusetts Board of Fire Prevention Regulations voted last week to support the proposal. A final vote is expected in October, meaning the new code change could take effect as soon as next year. Tens of millions of recalled sprinkler heads are believed to be in place nationwide, according to the National Fire Sprinkler Association. The code change would add a requirement during annual sprinkler inspections for a list of all installed sprinkler heads to be checked for any recalls. If the list doesn't exist, as is the case in many buildings, the code change would require each installed sprinkler head to be inspected. As previously reported, sprinklers at Gabriel House had been recalled decades earlier, including the one in the room where the fire started. The Bar Association of Norfolk County is offering a free walk-in legal clinic this evening at the Quincy District Courthouse. Attorneys experienced in all areas of the law will be available for private one-on-one consultations from 6 to 8 p.m. for free. No appointment is necessary. Check of business news this morning, and stocks are down. The Dow lost 60 points, the Nasdaq dropped 85, and the S&P fell 4. Shares were mixed. In Asia, the dollar and the euro were down, and oil at $89 a barrel. In sports, the Red Sox lost in Toronto 2-1 to the Blue Jays. They're back at it tonight at 7:07. The National Weather Service forecast for today: hazy, hot, and humid with some wildfire smoke in the air. High today 87. For tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 68. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, warm and humid, high of 86. Thursday, some scattered showers and thunderstorms with a high of 85. Sunny on Friday and a high of 82. The marine forecast calling for 1 to 2 foot waves, winds west 5 to 10 knots at a high tide 10:49 a.m. Sunrise 5:47, sets at 7:50. I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Tuesday, August 11th.